Hi, welcome back to today's story time. So, in the last chapter, Addy was eating some meat and he said it was delicious and he didn't know what it was, and then Dory told him that it was pigeon and he didn't know that we can eat pigeon. So let's see what happens this chapter, chapter 47. The next morning I walked down the stairs to Dory with Pigeon following me close behind. After Dory fed him the piece from her plate last night, he didn't stop meowing for scraps of the pigeon meat, and he even jumped up onto the table when we'd finished to lick the plates. I wondered if he was trying to tell me that his name was Pigeon, and even though it sounds a bit funny at first, the name fits. It seems to suit him. His grey stripes could be feathers, and they are exactly the right sort of pigeon colour. He seems excited, like me, that we are going pigeon hunting today. He keeps close to my heels so I almost trip over him, and then he jumps up onto my shoulders where he perches like a bird. Dory is wearing a flat kind of hat this morning, and she's sitting on the arm of the sofa waiting for us. We'll have breakfast later, when we've caught our first one, she tells us. She goes into the corner of the room and wheels out one of those trolleys that you use for shopping, just like the one I first used to carry food in from the top flats. It's got everything we need inside it, she says, and gently taps it twice. Pigeon is going to have to wait here for us, Dory tells me. Pigeon looks at both of us with really big eyes. They say, "Don't leave me here alone." I think Dory's thinking the same thing because she says, "Sorry, Buster, but that's the way it has to be." She puts some cat treats in a saucer that has little pink roses on it and bits of gold around the rim, and while he's eating them, we leave. I wasn't able to risk it for a while because of the spores, you see, otherwise we could have been eating it all along. We'll wear scarves just in case, but you know Obie doesn't think the spores are able to fly very high, so as long as we go to one of the very top floors, we'll be fine. In the end, we go to the 15th floor and we find a flat that has an empty balcony. Dory pulls out some scarves that we wrap round our faces. She says something to me, but I can't hear her through the scarf, so she makes a little hole in her mouth and says, "First we need to get their attention." She pulls out a clear plastic bag of seeds from the trolley. "Do you want to come with me or wait inside?" I say I'll come with her. Dory checks something in her pocket and then says, "Ready?" She pulls her scarf round her mouth to cover up the hole, opens the balcony doors, and we go outside. As far as we can see, there is just the green of the plants and the funny colour of the bluchers. The tops of the trees look like bubbly green clouds, all in different shades, and the patches of thick grasses made odd little shapes among them. There are other colours too, reds and yellows and blues, which must be flowers that have sprung up here and there. I can't see any pigeons though, and then Dory starts calling to them. She cups both her hands over her mouth and makes a hooting sound. Hoo-hoo! 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 Over and over. First one way and then the other. Then she grabs a handful of seed from the bag and gestures to me to take one. From out of the trees we see their little grey bodies take to the air and start to fly up to where we are. We hear the sound of their wings beating just before they land in any space they can on the tiny balcony. In the moments before they arrive, Dory throws her handful of seeds onto the floor, and within seconds each seed has been furiously pecked and eaten. I throw my handful then, and there is a flurry of movement as they move on to the new lot of seeds. We keep this up for a couple of handfuls each, and then Dory passes me the seed bag to hold. She throws a large scattering of seeds next to one of the walls, and then she bends down low straight away. All of the pigeons' backs are to her, pecking away, and then, as quick as a step, Dory picks up a pigeon that is right in front of her. She presses the startled, fat-looking bird to her chest and brings out a bag from her pocket, which she puts the bird inside. Dory throws a last handful of seeds out onto the open air beyond the balcony, and we watch all the pigeons fly off to follow them. When they are gone, we all go back inside. With the doors firmly shut and our scarves off, Dory opens the bag slowly so I can see its face. She holds it so firmly it doesn't seem panicked, just mildly curious about what's happening. Dory looks as comfortable holding the bird snugly in her lap as I felt when I was holding Pigeon asleep on my legs last night. Good girl, no need to fret there." Dory speaks in a low voice which sounds very much like the hoo-hoo calls that she made when she first came out onto the balcony. How did you know how to do it, Dory?" I ask. "My father showed me how. It's easy as pie. You just have to do it quickly. They don't like a dithered, do pigeons. I must have caught my first pigeon when I was much younger than you are now, maybe 4 or 5 years old. I got my first one in the bag and I haven't stopped doing it since. Before all this blucher business, pigeon meat was pretty much the only meat I ever ate. I'd go out to that little garden bit, you know, where there was some grass at the bottom of the tower, call to the pigeons, and then bam, dinner. If only the ovens were working, I could make you roasted pigeon and pigeon pie as quick as looking at you. But the stew's quite nice, and you can fry it up. It's not as good, but it's all right. People round here used to think I was awfully strange. I mean, I am, I suppose. Always feeding the pigeons, you see. They don't like them. They call them flying rats and things like that. Don't know what's good for them. Don't realise that it's their dinner flying right past their nose. One lady called the police about me. She said that they should make me stop feeding them. I said to them, I'm not breaking any laws, am I? And I wasn't, you see. So they couldn't do anything about it. Just asked me to have a bit more consideration. I started coming down at night after that so no one would say anything. I suppose some people just don't like them. They feel a bit of fear for them. They can't see how beautiful they are, just like this one here. I like them, I say. A memory of a grey morning pops into my head then, of an old woman who was feeding the pigeons at the bottom of the tower. Michael's mum had tutted when we had to walk past. The woman was completely surrounded by birds, with piles of snow-white breadcrumbs scattered over the ground. I had seen Dory before, after all. Anyway, enough of my rambling on. It's time for breakfast, says Dory.